Welcome, everyone. We're on air, which is awesome. So welcome to the re-recording of my presentation for you on how to build relationships and stand out from the crowd using video. Yesterday, for those of you who did attend the webinar, we had some technical issues, unfortunately. But you know what? Stop it. I was like, well, let's just re-record it again because I think you guys, deserve the best quality stuff from me, and I really want to deliver the best quality product that I can. So therefore, I'm going to re-record this one. So basically today, what we're going to do is I just really want to cover in this training. I want to give you as much value as I possibly can to help you build lasting relationships using video. How can you connect with influencers using video? This is something I really, really pride myself on, the ability to connect with people properly, the ability to harness video and really stand out from the crowd, right? So that's why I really want to touch on video ideas to help you stand out from the crowd. How can you be noticed in such a crowded space that is this online space in quote unquote? And I'm going to give you a couple of secrets of mine that will really make your videos pop without spending any extra dollars that you have. Your hard-earned dollars. So before we get into all of this, I really just want to talk a little bit about me because we all love to talk about ourselves. For those of you who don't know me and are checking this out for the very first time, I am a dad of 4 girls. You can see me there with my lovely babies feeding the ducks. We were actually throwing rocks into the river, not feeding the ducks, but same thing, picture, perception, whatever. I'm a chronic sufferer of shiny object syndrome. Give me a shout out if you know what I'm talking about there. Let me know because so many of us are, and I just want to make sure that my mic's coming through. Yeah, it is coming through. That's good. So many of us suffer from this particular thing, right? Like so many people see one thing and they run off to do something that they think is amazing, and then I'm just getting Facebook notifications. I probably should turn those off. Let me go and turn those off real quick. Do not disturb. Where's that button? Okay. This is embarrassing. Yes, do not disturb. There we go. I'll just jack that up to there. There we go. All right, so we're going to be disturbed now. I apologize for that, guys. Again, technical issues. James is not really good at this stuff. Anyway, so I'm a video guy. 100% believe in video. I've served over 7 years in the military. And I've got a huge passion for connecting with people. I just think it's the best thing we can do, and I really, really enjoy doing it. So my journey so far, I really, it's one quite new, right? Like I published my first video on the 11th of August, and that was on how to find out what people actually want, and did really, really well across Facebook and YouTube. I've had over 17,000 views, and I'll show you my stats in a minute. I've had 100 new email subs in the last couple of weeks. I started with a new email service provider called ActiveCampaign. It's really great. And in the last 2 weeks, I've managed to add 100 new email subscribers, which is 100 more than what I've been able to add in 2 years of podcasting. I'm a channel partner with entrepreneur.com, and I produce videos for them once a week, and also produce videos for my channel 3 times a week, with the latest video coming out today, Wednesday the 14th. So if you're not a member of my channel, go and check it out. All right, so why video? Why do we want video? And people are probably worried. They're like, oh my God, video is such a crowded space. How do I do it? Well, you know what? Video is a crowded space, but video is actually the best space to be in. And I'm going to tell you why. YouTube has over 1 billion users. That's 1/3 of the total internet. 1 billion. Think about that, 1 billion users. Now, how many of those are active? We don't know. This is just a stat that YouTube gives us. But 1 billion users is massive. We can't ignore this, right? It's legit. It's legit. So that's why you need to tap into it. Over 300 hours of video is being uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's insane. 300 hours every minute. Check it out. It's unbelievable, really. 9% of US businesses are using YouTube to build their brand. Only 9%. This is what gets me. This is, I don't understand why that's not higher. I think, more businesses should really harness the power of YouTube. But you know what? I think that they're probably struggling to figure out a way that they can do it effectively. So that's why I make these trainings for you. 4 billion video views per day. You want to capture some of that market. trust me, you want to capture that some of the market, because video has done amazing things for me and it will do amazing things for you. And that's why this training on how to stand out is really going to be the best for you. And welcome to a couple of our viewers who are checking this out now. So my stats, I just want to show you this quickly. Before I started producing videos on a regular basis, I had a couple up there as tutorials. But so from the 6th of July, I released my first video on the 11th of August, and you can see around here, I think that's the 11th of August right there. And you can see the growth. Okay. I know that, you're probably looking down here at the $5.18. I know it's a lot of money. I'm really looking forward to spending it and going on a massive holiday to nowhere with that money. But you can see the growth in the number of views, okay? And that's what I think, if we put out quality content that stands out and it builds relationships with people, we can really grow our channels and we can really grow our businesses using this particular method that I'm going to share with you today. And here it is on Facebook. You can see, again, same sort of thing. August, there's the beginning of August when I published my first video. And you can see this little lull here. I actually had a daughter, and so I didn't produce a video that week. But you can see the spikes and when I produced videos. And then it sort of decreased a little bit. So I don't know if Facebook's changed their algorithms or people are finding my videos boring. I don't care. But, it's a lot of views. You can see there 15,000 views. And, Facebook is really, really cool for video right now. But I want to show you some other statistics on why we should be sharing our videos natively on Facebook. And you see what the big brands are doing. You can see here, like the blue is Facebook, where they're natively sharing videos. YouTube used to be the thing, right? And people are slowly starting to share their videos natively on Facebook, which gives us two channels to share our quality content on, right? Instead of just the one channel. So this is where I really think, getting into video and creating stuff that stands out, that is unique and beneficial to your audience is really going to help you both on Facebook and YouTube, and also Instagram and Vine. I'll share with you how I use those as well to stand out from the pack. The number of posts, have a look at this one. This is amazing as well on Facebook. The number of brands that are posting native video on Facebook in comparison to YouTube. It's like a huge tumble. But we saw before the statistics of YouTube, there's still a massive audience there. So this is what I'm trying to get across. Like, we have these two massive platforms, these two huge platforms that we can leverage by creating awesome video. And that's really what it's all about, is creating awesome video that's unique, that's creative, and is just 100% you. But really, the biggest complaints I hear with video, right? The biggest complaints that people come and say to me, they're like, why do... I can't do video. And the biggest things, and I ask them, why aren't you doing video? And this is what I hear. I hear, there's so much video being produced. How do I stand out? Well, you know what? That's why you're coming to watch this webinar, because this webinar is going to show you how to stand out. And the second one I hear is, video is too much effort. I don't know how to do it. And yes, video is a lot of effort. But you know what? It's effort that makes you stand out. If it was easy, every single person in this world would be doing it. But you know what? It's not easy. You are the only you, and you run your business, and you need to put in the effort to make this stand out. All right, so how do we build relationships with video? And this is something I really pride myself on being really good to do, and it's certainly helped me grow in the last few weeks. And not only in the last few weeks, but since I started producing video regularly. The reason these work, and this is really what I want to stress for people, the reason these work is because they're unique, right? They're just personalized. They're not cookie cutter approaches to things. They're unique and they're creative, and we think outside the box, and we get our stuff done. And people love that. People absolutely love that. They love to see you investing effort into them. And that's really what I want to stress, right? Like, if you can create stuff that is unique and personalized, you're home and hose. That's it. You'll stand out. And let's get into some of those. Okay, let's get into why some of those work. And connecting with influencers is a big one. People always want to know, how can I connect with influencers? How can I stand out? And influencers tend to be the reason we create things, because we can get noticed. If we can associate ourselves with connecting influencers, then we're on the money. But how can we do that with video? Well, one way that I've experimented with, and I have seen it work incredibly well, is to use Vine. Now, Vine, if you don't know what Vine is, you need to figure this out, because Vine is 6-second videos that you can publish on both Vine and Twitter. And so I'm going to go and see if I can find the Vine that I am talking about. And I did this yesterday. I should have had it up. But anyway, at least now you can see my screen. In the webinar I did yesterday, people couldn't see my screen. For those of you who don't know, this is an incredible platform, Momentum. It's really, really good for just really having your focus on one thing. And I know that's a bit of a sidetrack, Let's have a look here and see if Vine's going to load. I've got really slow internet. There we go. You guys, the viewers who are on, you have to let me know if you can hear this. You probably won't be able to. Okay, here's the Vine here. All right, so that was the Vine I created for Keith Griffiths from Online Creators Launchpad. Keith was holding a webinar on how to connect with influencers on Facebook. I believe that was the one he was creating. And I really wanted to show Keith that I was really excited for his webinar and that I really enjoyed all his content. So I created that. And one way that really helped me stand out, right, it was Keith showed that Vine to everyone on the webinar. And not only everyone that was on the webinar, but everyone who saw the recording. So immediately people are seeing my good looking face right there. 3 viewers. I know you're checking out that face. You're checking out that face, aren't you? I wish my chat box was working. So, that was one way that I stood out, and that Keith, he really appreciated that. He said, thanks for, I don't know, the chat box isn't working, but thanks for showing your excitement and thanks for turning up. So that was one way to stand out. And that's one way I think you can stand out if you get a book or you get a product or you buy a service or something like that. Create a short video showing your excitement, share it with the influencer, tag them, they're going to share it around. And that just immediately sort of steps you up a level, right? This influencer is like, thanks very much. He or she knows your name and they can really sort of relate to you and they can share your story and your excitement, and that's probably going to help them get some sales as well, and they're probably more appreciative of that. So that's one way. Use Vine. It's only 6 seconds. Just grab your phone and make it happen. Another one is to use Facebook and Instagram. Yesterday I made this and I later deleted it because it was really, really creepy. I just finished at the gym and you can tell that I really don't care what I look like when I'm on video, but I look like a bum. I recorded a video here for Christina Canters, who's a really great friend of mine, and she was having a birthday. And so one way is to shoot a birthday message on Instagram or Facebook, flick it over to them. I know Keith, again, does this really, really great. And you can use apps if you don't want to have your face on the actual video. You can use some really great apps to create those and share them across, right? It just goes that extra mile. And if you're not connected with them on a personal basis, this helps you stand out because everyone can sort of like tweet them and say happy birthday, whatever. But this just means like you're putting yourself out there in a vulnerable situation. You're showing that you care and you're sharing, just your passion about people, because I think that's what it all boils down to. And really what, I preach when I talk about video is that if you care about the people who are watching your videos, you'll do really, really well. Okay, so I think, create birthday messages. If people are doing, have done something amazing, create just a short message using a video, share that on their Facebook page, share that on Instagram and tag them in it. It just helps you stand out. Also says, that you care. So that's another great way to build a relationship with influencers and have them find out who you are exactly. Another really, really great way, and I see this, Evan Carmichael, I know him through YouTube and for someone else through entrepreneur.com. What Evan does is basically he will scour YouTube, scour the internet, and find all these little clips from influencers, and just drag them into one clip. You can see there that's 10 minutes 38. So what he's done is he's gone around, find Kid Cuties, all these interviews, dragged in his 10 rules for success in all these different interviews that people have interviewed him. And Evan has just curated this content, and then he adds his thoughts afterwards. So immediately he's associating himself with these influencers, but also adding value to people. All right. So like he's giving like a one-stop shop to get all these amazing nuggets of information on success from these successful influencers. And then he's chiming in with his own. So immediately people are associating Evan with these successful influencers. So I think that's really cool to do. And you don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. I think, it's great value add to your audience. Other ways that you can build relationships with people, collaborate. One way that I have recently collaborated, again, was with Keith Griffiths. All we did is we came up with an idea for a video. I recorded on my end. I'm here in Australia and Keith is in Boston. And I recorded my end. I recorded a short sort of, I think it was like a 2-minute video. And then I emailed it or Dropboxed it over to Keith. And then Keith added bits at the beginning and bits at the end. And then immediately we've got a collaboration. This is a really great way of building a relationship with people, adding value to their audience. So, if you have some training like this one, or you have something else, you can collaborate with someone else, do a hangout, do a Skype call, do something that really value adds for both your audience. Even if you have 2 people, that's an audience. Okay, so don't worry if I'm talking about audiences here, and people are like, I don't have an audience here, James. Don't worry about that. Everyone has an audience. It just takes some time to get it. Okay, you just got to find your peeps. But collaborating with people, creating value, and always leading with value rather than asking. All right, and that's why I do this training, is because I just lead with value, and then down the track, there'll be a reason to ask. Asking them for input using Twitter. I have done this for an interview on burnout, or a video on burnout. Sorry, I asked Nick Loper and Amy Schmidhauer. I tweeted them. I said, how do you avoid entrepreneurial burnout? And they sent me back the responses. I screen grabbed their tweets and threw them into a video. Immediately then I associate my name with their name. I can tag them in the video on Facebook. I can tag them in the video on Twitter, and I share it around. And a lot of people then associate, oh, Amy Schmidhauer knows James Chu. Well, I don't actually know Amy. Hi, Amy, if you're watching, one of the 4 viewers tuning in. But, it just adds value, because if what I'm saying sort of lines up with what they're saying, people are going, oh, maybe James knows what he's talking about. Okay, so dragging all these things in, ask them on Facebook, get people in for chats and drag their stuff in. It will all help round out your video, all help you build relationship with these influencers. Not even just influencers, but with people who are checking out your videos and stuff like that. Another really great way is to include their video with yours. I did this with Christina Canner in my last video that came out last Wednesday. Christina had done a really cool rap for Pat Flynn to get him on her show. And basically, I downloaded her video from YouTube. I then embedded it in my video, and I said, this is a really good example of ways to get people on his show. Boom, and then I showed them Christina's video. It means that I don't have to reinvent the wheel. It means I can provide real life examples from real life amazing people and just build out my video. Right, so this bit is the next bit I really want to touch on, is how to stand out. How can we create video that's going to stand out from the rest and help us be amazing, and have people stay on the line? Thank you to the couple of guys who are still sticking around and watching this. I always use humor to tell a story. Now, I'll tell you why I use humor. And people say, I'm not naturally funny. And I am also not naturally funny. And I sort of go with an obscure, out-of-the-box type of humor. The reason why I use humor to tell a story is because people are attracted to funny things and attracted to obscure things that keeps their attention, right? So if you have a look at audience retention rates, people tend to drop off after sort of the first 30 seconds to a minute. So really incorporating something that's funny, that's out of the box, that, that's just wild, tends to keep people on the hook a bit longer, right? And, when we're delivering our videos, we usually have a call to action at the end, and we want them to, leave a comment on the video or give it a thumbs up or something like that. So using humor or using things to keep people on the line. So, 30 seconds, put in some humor. At a minute, put in some humor. At a minute 30, put in some humor. 2 minutes, adding in humor to help round out your story will help you stand out, because people will stay on the line longer. And the longer your audience retention rate, the better it ranks in YouTube and also on Facebook. But also, it just keeps people along the line and gets them to your call to action. And your call to action is really where you hit home and you say, hey, thanks for tuning in. This is what I want you to do. Maybe it's leave a comment. Maybe it's go and share this video. Maybe, all these different things. We want to keep people in the line as long as possible, right? So we can get to our call to action. So using humor really rounds out your story. It also makes you laugh, and people are more likely to share your story and your video if it's humorous. So adding humor to tell your story is just a really great way of standing out. Secondly, collaborate when possible. Like I mentioned, I've already collaborated with a few people, but collaborating with people associates you with these influencers, other big names, and it helps you stand out because people are naturally attracted to these influencers or these amazing other people that you've worked with. And if your name is next to them, they immediately go associate you with these people, and you stand out from the crowd. That's really what we want. We really want to stand out from the crowd. So collaborating where possible, come up with an idea, a value add, something that's going to just jam pack full of value for whoever you want to collaborate with. Think about their audience first, and then your audience, because it's a lot easier to pitch these people. If you say, I think your audience would love this. I've seen, on the blog, this is the sort of comments that they're leaving. I tend to be an expert in this. Let's do a video. And that's a really great way of standing out, because it gets shared a lot. And, the influencer will share it, or the person will share it, and then your name's next to it, and you'll stand out. Have great audio and music. I can't stress this enough. This is like the biggest point, right? To stand out. Have a think about Hollywood blockbuster films. Just have a think about it for a minute. The music makes the film. They spend all this money on making the film. They spend all this money on actors and everything like that, but they invest so much time in the score. You know, we see the scores coming out on CDs and their own on iTunes and stuff like that. Excuse me. They come out on iTunes, these scores. You know, imagine a movie without music. Would that dramatic scene be as dramatic? I don't think it would. Like, I personally think music makes a scene. So having amazing music really round out your video at critical points when you're going to say something, right? Silence is the best way to get something across. So just having great music is the key to a great video. People automatically go, oh, why has he stopped? It's a great way of getting people on the hook. So if you make your movie out, you make your video out, and you stop the music at a critical point, this is all done in editing, by the way. You don't have like a boombox on your shoulder playing the music. If you cut the music at a critical point, people, they'll hear the music stop and they're more likely to listen to that point. It's a really, really great way of standing out. Really great way of putting emphasis on points, and really great way of just building out your video. Another great way is audio. Spend the $50. Go and buy yourself a Rode SmartLav Plus for your smartphone. Trust me, the audio, we can excuse poor video. We can just sort of go, yeah, okay, we understand he doesn't have the best camera. But audio, there is no excuse for bad audio, especially now, like with the smartphones. Like, I'm holding my smartphone in my hand right now. It has an amazing microphone. I'm going to dive into one of the secret tips. It's all about this. So let's move on to the next one. But yeah, having great audio and great music will really, really help your video stand out and help you stand out because it shows that you've put in effort. Next point is using a tripod or a GorillaPod. This is incredibly important. I cannot, how many times have you watched a video and it's all shaky and you're like, am I at sea? Am I flying through turbulence? It's terrible. Invest the money in a GorillaPod or a tripod. Give yourself sturdy, quality video. You can then implement things like the rule of 2/3. You can have a great background setting. It's just incredibly important to have stable video, and it really just amplifies you and says, oh, he means business or she means business because they've invested in themselves in this video to make it look good. Okay, a GorillaPod I think goes for like $30. A tripod probably similar price. If you don't want to get any of these things, go and buy like a $5 selfie stick. It comes with like a phone attachment on the end, and just use that to have like stable video. Hold that with your hands, and it's going to be a lot more stable than holding it with 2 fingers and shaking it all around the place. All right, like an earthquake. It's terrible. Just that's it's like a massive pet peeve of mine, but go and grab a tripod or a GorillaPod. And finally, lighting. Oh, lighting. Go and okay. Number one hack for lighting. Go and find a window where you've got some fresh sunlight coming in. And if you need to, this is actually a really good thing that someone said on the webinar I recorded yesterday. Grab some baking paper. If it's too bright, grab some baking paper and put the baking paper over the window, over a section of the window, and that will help diffuse the light and make you less saturated and less whitey. You're not going to look like an elf out of Lord of the Rings, or maybe you could look like a vampire out of Twilight and sparkle. Maybe put some sparkles on your face. I might do that for a video. So lighting is just critically important because it just shows that, again, you've made some effort, but you don't have any harsh shadows over your face. You're not sort of hiding around corners or anything like that. It just gives you amazing sort of video quality, right? And it can really open up the sensor in your phone and gives you the best quality, or your phone or your DSLR. It gives you the best quality video. And again, it just looks the next level when it comes to video, right? I shot some pretty terrible ones. Everyone shot some terrible videos, but just really investing in the time and effort to learn. If you're not, don't sit under like a yellow light. Again, it looks odd. Natural light is the best kind of light, but like I said, if it's too harsh, cloudy days are really great because the clouds give you like a natural diffusion. But if it's a bright day, grab some baking paper, paste it on your window or a section on your window, sit in front of that and put your camera in front of that. And that will give you amazing quality light for free, apart from the couple of cents for baking paper. If you want to step it up a next level, you can go and grab a lighting kit. I got mine for $100 from eBay, 100 Australian dollars from eBay. The US guys, I'm sure you can grab it quite cheaply as well. But it is an amazing investment in your time. And finally, this is the biggest point I really, really, really want to hit home, is to stand out. You need to make an effort. You need to make an effort if you want to stand out, because people notice the effort. It's the first thing that people had said to me when I produced a video. Like, oh my God, how do you produce these videos? You must have like an amazing studio. And honestly, my studio is pretty terrible. I'm actually doing a walkthrough on Sunday. But it's pretty terrible, but the effort is there, right? Like, I've gone to set up the camera properly. I've set up the backdrop properly. I've got the lights set up properly. I've made it a concerted effort to create content that is relevant to my audience and to stand out. If all these things fall in a row, that's how you stand out. And that's really why I want to help people. And what I want to help people with is how can we repurpose content we've already created, or how can we come up with great content that's going to help us stand out? And how can we implement the tools and processes and actions to stand out, and make that concerted effort. So that's really what I want to get across, okay? Everything that I've talked about today is just making an effort and putting in time and effort into what you want to create. And if you really want to stand out, that's what you need to do. All right, now there's 2 secrets. I'm going to drop 2 secrets on you. Again, thanks for the viewers for tuning in. These 2 secrets, they're just really, really simple, but they will make your videos pop, okay? And really, really help you stand out. Making custom thumbnails is so simple, and yet a lot of people don't do it. So when you upload a video to YouTube or Facebook, they will just automatically generate a custom thumbnail. Now, this is basically, they just picked a frame out of your video, and it could be weird. Like, have a look at this. This is a custom thumbnail I made, but this is a frame that I actually just picked out, right? This is 3 things to learn about relationships from making green smoothies. I just picked this frame up, and all I did was take a screenshot of this frame as I was editing the video, and then I added in some text using Photoshop. But if you don't have Photoshop, you can jump over to Canva, and you can just bring in the frame. So one thing I've seen and one thing I do try and implement is, for the first 10 seconds of your recording, just stand there in a pose that you want to use as a thumbnail. So maybe I'm holding my glass and pointing to it like this with my mouth slightly open like an idiot. Or, maybe you're just standing there with your hands in the air, like waving them or something like that. That is going to help when people scroll through YouTube. They're going to see like a custom thumbnail and they go, whoa, what's this about? And you've got your title clearly there that people can read from the thumbnail. Again, on Facebook, it's easy to share on Facebook, Twitter, all those good things. It's just one way to make your video pop, when you made to make your video stand out from the rest. And it's really, really simple. It doesn't take much time at all. The second thing is use your smartphone to capture audio if you don't have a microphone. Smartphones have amazing quality microphones in them because they need them for the loudspeaker. So if you're recording something, if you're standing up recording, just hold your phone just slightly down to the bottom, out of frame. Point the microphone towards your face, and guarantee your audio will be so much better than what it is on onboard DSLR microphones, cameras or something like that. If you're using your phone to record, it's usually quite good if you're close to it. But yeah, it's just a one way. If you're sitting at a desk, again, just have it out of frame on a book facing towards you. Lots of ways to do that. It's really quite simple, actually. Sorry about that. Just had to cough and die. All right. So that about wraps it up. This is what we've really covered today. We talked about how can we build lasting relationships using video. We've talked about how can we connect with influencers using video. And we talked about video ideas to stand out from the crowd. How can we change our videos up to stand out from the crowd and be noticed for who we are? All right, that's really everything. We talked about collaboration or solo. Didn't really touch on that too much today, but that will be coming in a later video. And confidence to be yourself on camera. I think everything, if you implement all of these things, you'll be confident with yourself on camera because you will know you are delivering absolute value to your audience or anyone that you want to be your audience. So standing out from the crowd and over delivering on value is going to give you confidence. And trust me, when you just offer, like when you just absolutely just give yourself to the camera and to the audience and you just create absolute value, people email. Like the first video I put out, I got an email saying, I just love what you're doing. And that to me gave me the confidence to be on camera. Right? So that's all we've covered today. If you need to go back and watch any part of it, go back. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, hello@jameschew.me, and we can talk about that for sure. There's just one more thing I wanted to touch on before we go today, and that is, if you're interested in video, these are all the things I can help you with. The course that I'm launching, its beta version, it's got 24 hours to go, and then it's going to shut off, and the price is going to increase. But 10 hours of live training, we're going to get on webinars, Google Hangouts for 2 hours every week, and we're going to run through all this great content, and we're going to set challenges for you to go out and find out how you can repurpose the amazing content or create amazing content for your audience. Next, we really want to focus on how can we make your YouTube channel stand out and look like a pro. We're going to figure out how you can record and package and sell video content just like this one across to your audience. We're going to discover how to use Facebook to gain a massive unfair advantage and increase your engagement on Facebook. Huge tips there that will help you just peak and grow your page. And how can we quickly edit videos on iPhone and iPad without expensive software or fuss? That's a really great tip. And trust me, you don't need to be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do this. And also, if you have tools, right? You have tools to create super high quality video content. I'm going to show you how to use those tools rather than having to go out and spend $1,200 on a new camera body or something like that. So this is what we're going to do. And this is only for 48 hours. It started yesterday, so it means 24 hours to go. At this time tomorrow, it will finish. And this is a beta launch, and then the price is going to increase by over $300. So today, if you buy right now, you will save $300, right? $197. And trust me, there's only a couple of people in here, and you will be well looked after. I'll treat you like one of my own. Okay, so join me. If you want to grab it, jump over to jameschew.me/sale. This is where you can grab it right now, $197 before it increases by $300. Right, so that wraps up the webinar. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you will jump over to jameschew.me and jameschew.me/sale. Check it out. If you have seen any value in this, please share it with your friends. More than happy for as many people as can to see this. I think it's great value training, and I really look forward to bringing you the next training, which will be 100% on how to use your smartphone to create super high quality video like a pro and stand out from the pack and build your brand using smartphone video. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've seen value in it. If you have any questions, hello@jameschew.me is where you'll find me, or you can find me on Twitter, James_Chew. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.